Okay, you have an instructor manual. The instructor manual takes just a minute to load. But again, the instructor manual gives you a lot of tips for you as an instructor. This is the instructor manual. You actually have case studies. That's the instructor manual. And let's go to toolbox pamphlets, please. And for all of the modules, you have what's called a bifold toolbox pamphlet. And this is actually a tool, shows you the toolbox pamphlet that actually goes along with each module. So you can actually teach each module from a printed slide. You can teach it from a printed toolbox talk or pamphlet. You can teach it from the booklets, or you can actually teach, and again, you have the ability to print it in any one of the languages, so you can actually have flexibility as a trainer to teach. With that point, we'll actually go to our next presenter. Thank you.
Hello. That's good. Well, until I'm back again, and thank you. I think we have a lot of information we've been through, and you have a homework to do. Make sure you got your CD. And actually, I have a question for you now, because this happened to me. I just got the new version too, and went back to the hotel, put it in, and what if it doesn't work, or it doesn't install? What are you going to do? Because you have everything, all the information, but it won't install. So you call me. No. Make sure that actually, if you have an old version of the CD, to erase that one, to install the new version first. Number two, if you have the Windows 7, is it? Windows 7 or Vista, of course. You need to install your CD as an administrator. How do you do that? You actually, on the process, you're going to have the, what was that? You do the right click to do the administrator.
If you're using Windows 7 or Vista to install the CD, the program will try to auto-install. What you have to do is shut off that auto-install, right-click on get My Computer open, and then right-click on the CD. That will allow you to open up and see what's in the folder on the CD. You will find the setup.exe, and when you put your mouse on it, you right-click on it, and a menu will open up that lets you run it as an administrator. And that's what you have to do in Windows. And this is true with many programs that now are coming in with with Vista and Windows 7, as they require administrative privileges to run them, and that's the easiest way to access it. And I believe that this is, if you go to the website, we have to the website for the clearinghouse. This is in an instruction there that can be found there. And I believe that if you look into the documents that come with the CD, you'll also see it there. But I don't know how you'll get access to them until you install it. So,
so that's good things to remember. And another one is, what if you actually lose your CD or you want more CDs? Then you can contact any of our consortium members, send me an email. And another thing that we are going to do is we have actually done it, is you got the CD online. You can download it out of the worksonsafety.org. You find the CD, download it. It would take some time. But if you wanted to download the CD out of the website, you can do that as well. Same thing, we do have on our website some of the demos. If you just want to take the demos instead, you can do it online if you don't have your CD with you. Another thing that I need to remind you is brochure guidelines also available online as well. Okay. And let's go back to trenches and excavations now. And again, we already have seen the feature of the languages and the printing materials. That's good. Porque son, I don't think we're going to have voice on this either. Okay, then I can be the speaker then. ¿Por qué son peligrosas las excavaciones? And you're gonna have that voice feature over there. It has volume, and you can just click it, and you will the program will talk to you. And you can do like an interactive motion, which means it would just come line by line. You can ask questions to the workers and switch them again into different languages. Keep on going. You keep clicking. Each line keeps coming. Trenchers can kill, workers can be buried alive, cave-ins, water can collect at the bottom, flammable, everything, basic awareness that you can find in trenches and excavations. Before digging, and that's a great demo. That's the best thing about the programs is the demos, because that's just like a main tool that you can use for your toolbox or as the component for your safety programs or any OSHA courses that you might do. So in this case, you can see, oh, another good thing before I forget is the metric system, just because we have miles, inches, in United States, where around the world we use metric system, and we have also added that feature into this program. So if you want to use metric system, you can switch that, and we're going to see that in a little bit. So we can actually, in this demo, we can show our workers how the cave in will happen. And you can hear the sound as well. And most of the times, workers don't realize the weight of the soil times per cubic metrics. So you can show different types of soils, and that's why it's dangerous, because most of the times their perspective is just like, this is not too deep, so we're not going to have too weight on top of us. And you can give them the exact numbers, and that's why it's dangerous. Then you can also go back to the main menu and do impact time. Most of the times you think you can just move out, you pick the depth, and then you let go. Same thing, 0.47 seconds, the impact time. So you can always refer to these demos to demonstrate reaction time. You can play with it, like you're supposed to like let go and you hear a sound, you could move the person out if you have enough skill, I guess. Once you hear the little sound, and it will show you that you were too late, the impact time. And you can always go back again, change the depth of the trench of an excavation, and keep playing with it. If we had a sound, you could hear.
Hello and welcome to the last day of the IRPC.
That wasn't me.
We would like to announce that there will be a lunch.
That's the sound.
At noon. So please stick around after the sessions are over and enjoy lunch at noon at the Exhibit Hall A. Also, Timothy Plate of Delaware River Port Authority, come to booth 317 to pick up your prize. Thank you and have a great day.
Perfect. Did we go back to the menu? Did we do the last one, which is impact force? Same thing, you have the choices to pick in different types of soils, different types of depths, and then just play with it. So that gives the employees a good perspective of why we're talking about trenches and excavations hazards. And then you keep going, and how do we prevent cave-ins? Trenches 5 feet. We talk about sloping, different types of protective measures, benching. We also have this kind of as a good tool, as a calculator to, you can actually set the width, the depth, and it will show you your protective measure, type of soils as well. And it will show you the slope that you're supposed to do your trench or excavation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of information that you have to go through to play with it and understand it. Oh, it has a cost calculator on top of too, so you know how much it's gonna be to create that.
And you can select your own cost or use the Caterpillar cost here.
Okay. So what else does trenching require? Employer should, and again, we see the standards, OSHA 1926-650B. If you need to explain to the employees any standards and why. Competent person must inspect, standard again. Who's the competent person, the qualified person? Mm-hmm. The measurements for ladders, safety, distances. So that's mostly about trenches and excavations. But now we're gonna do like a little bit of space right here for questions. If you have any questions that you may have about the program or how to run it, demos, anything, just make sure to contact me or any of the members of the consortium. Make sure you get your CD. That's a good question. Is there any way to just update your version 9 into version 10, or you just have to upload the new version?
At this point in time, there is no way to update. There is no way to update version 9 to 10. You have to remove version 9, and there is a removal option in the menu if you have it installed. You just go and do an uninstall. Oh, but no, you cannot download the modules and upgrade that for version 10. However, as we finish up version 10, let me go back to this point on the menu and show you something that's available here on the instructor menu. If you go to the instructor menu, you'll notice there is a page called Module Downloader or Updater. After we're done with version 10, and this existed for a while, but we had to make considerable changes in the organization going to version 10, so the two are not compatible. But as we finish up version 10 and things become stable, when you want to go and do an update, you actually would right-click on any one of these modules, and it will tell you that the operators, in this case, you'll see it says the PC file is newer. Click download to reload the older file now. Well, if there's a newer file there, it will tell you there's a newer file, and you'll be able to update individual modules here. The same thing is also true for the language, for updating the language files, and ultimately we expect this to be true for the compliance version, where you can actually download an updated compliance file as you go along. But currently you have to do version 9.
I've been listening to a few of the comments by the techies we've been doing the presentation. And like most of these programs, you can get in it as complicated or as deep as you want. But the one valuable piece about this is it is, in fact, a plug and play. I mean, it is, in fact, for almost everyone. You put it in, you install it, and you use it. And keep in mind that there are a lot of bells and whistles about setup here. All right? I've now been working with this thing for about 7 years, and about version number 2, I gave up on all of that and simply put it in, install it, and use it. Because it works for most people by keeping it simple. Everyone's going to have some glitches with their equipment or their computers. There are various README files around here that'll tell you how to do it. And if worse comes to worse, call Omar and he'll figure out how to get it done for you. All right? Because we don't want you to give up because somehow your equipment wouldn't respond. but for 99% of people who are users here, you plug it in and you play it.
And by the way, to add to what Don is saying, when this screen opens up, this is the first screen that comes up. And if you really just want to start it and not worry about anything else, you just click on that start button, pick the mode you want to put it in, and away you go. But also, there are first-time user instructions here, which will give you information about the program. And there is also a how-to video that will play here that you can watch. That tells you about the program. So these are things that are available as well.
Anything else? Any other questions, concerns, complaints?
Let me answer that for you in this regard. If you're not using the handheld devices, let me show you what you can do. You go to under the settings, and now we're getting back into the technology again. But you see there's a quiz settings here. You go into the quiz, you select the quiz. If you do not have an audience response system connected to it, then it will tell you you don't. Now when you go into the modules and you start the modules, and I'm just going to quickly go into one in slideshow, I'll show you what you see. And let's go into run over, back over. When you get into, let me go into the basic awareness program, you'll notice right up here you see a question mark that'll appear in the corner. When you click that question mark, it'll take you to the quiz, and it'll show you all the questions in order without the interactive device. Now, what we have done in the past is we have recommended that if you want to use these questions, you simply write up, have a sheet of handout paper. And on it you have question 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the choices, and they just mark the box. Some people have recently requested that these questions be made in a print format, and we are going to do that as well so that they will appear in an actual quiz format. These are available it's an ARS called Fleetwood, and it's available from the Fleetwood company. 25 controllers, 25 devices with the box come in a kit for about $3,000, which is not very much money when you start thinking about what you can do with it, because you can take your other program and you no longer have to do data entry with it either.
And one last thing, if you have an internet connection, any link that you're going to find through the program, it will take you to the OSHA's website. We don't have a connection at this time, but if you do on your computer, it will take you to the OSHA website, an iOS website, or any guidelines available online.